Welcome back to another video, this time live in Happy Jack, Wyoming. Not on my bike. I wanted to take my bike. Drivetrain is shot. Probably need a lot of work done on my bike. That poor mountain bike has been through a lot. It is 24 years old. Yeah, no, it's pushing 25. It's just about 25 years old. I've replaced parts here and there, but today's adventure is not about my bike woes. It is about being out here in Happy Jack, Wyoming. Look at that greenery, that beauty. God, this is a beautiful place. Run into some livestock, seen some cows. Pretty sure they're beef cows. They're grazing and enjoying themselves, but they won't be here long. Yes, such is the way of the rancher. Well, in this hike and talk, I really don't have much interesting to say. Nothing really crazy going on my mind. Did go back to work, 2 weeks ago. First week, when you work in education, the first week back to school was, you kind of just getting your feel for it. And then the second week, the mayhem starts, which is the week before school starts. And then this coming Monday, the students are back. They're back. And yeah, it'll be a fun adventure. It'll be stressful. It'll be overwhelming because that's the way of the educator. Not that I'm complaining, but it's well deserved to be out here in Happy Jack. And I'm actually just right now on a lone road, hiking down this road to get to my trail. I absolutely love the aspen. Now, I don't know why people feel the need to carve their initials in there, or Joe loves D forever. Never quite got that. KR, AR. Do you need to do that to the tree? Seriously? It's unnerving to me. It's upsetting. Thanks, Zach, for telling us that you were here by forever carving it into a tree. Good job, Zach. At any rate, I am hiking down this road to get to my trail, which is not too far from here, about a quarter mile. Get to my trail, be covered in trees, kind of like these. Beautiful aspen, but also some pine. I'll be in a nice forest. Looking forward to that. Over the summer break, I did a lot of adventures. We did a lot of traveling, which is in my blood. I grew up with parents who suffered from severe Wonderlust. My parents, good old Tom and Marcia, they could travel at the drop of a hat. My dad was in the Air Force, and they did a lot of that. They traveled, obviously for my dad's work, wherever he was stationed. He seemed to be on this circuit, the overseas circuit, because he would go overseas and then come back, go overseas, come back, go overseas. But in that time, my parents did a lot of exploring of Europe and really enjoyed it. And of course, they were born that way. They both had Wonderlust, loved to travel, loved to explore, and I think that's what bonded them together. And it's in my blood. It's in my blood. I can't help it. I love being outside. I love hiking. I love mountain biking. I love cycling. I love kayaking. I just like being outdoors. But the bad thing about Wonderlust is the more you travel, the more you explore, the more you want to explore, the more you want to travel, the more you want to be out. And it just kind of never ends. You just can't get enough. It's insatiable. And when I have my summer breaks, working in education is great from the standpoint that, I get, let's see, a week off for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks off at Christmas, a week-long spring break. And then my summer break's a little bit shorter with what I do. I get around 6 weeks, sometimes 7 weeks off during the summer. But during that time, most people don't have to, aren't able to take 6 to 7 weeks in a regular 9-to-5 job. So I, kind of start off slow, start doing some house projects, things around the house, and then the Wonderlust creeps in and I've got to get out, whether it's going camping, hiking, getting on the bike. So work hard, play hard. And, you know, nobody's boo-hooing for me. I'm not expecting that, you know, like, oh, you got 6 weeks off this summer and now you have to go back to work. Oh, that's rough. Now, I'm not expecting sympathy for that or something like, you know, for people to feel bad for that. By no means. But there is a lot of truth. You talk to teachers, you talk to other educators, whether it's a counselor, administrators that get extended time off. Most don't. Some administrators will take 3 or 4 weeks over the summer if they have that time available. And everybody agrees that the longer you're gone from work, the longer you're gone from a reality or a routine, the harder it is to get back into that routine. And if you look at most people, just simple things like exercise. So let's say you've been exercising for 2-3 months, you know, on a consistent basis. And then, you know, maybe you exercise 3, 4, 5 days a week. You take a day or 2 off. You take 3 or 4 days off. You take a week off. You take 2 weeks off. It is very difficult to get back into it, and to get back into it at a high level too. So in the same with work, it's like, you know, I was explaining earlier about how when you go back as a teacher or as an educator in any position, that first week back is kind of, you know, just getting your sea legs again, getting used to working after you've had 6, 7, 8, 9. Some teachers get up to 12 weeks off in the summer. And that's difficult to just jump right back into the routine and perform like you did before, much like exercise. You know, you can't just dive right back in and expect to perform at a high level. So, you know, same with work. Another thing that teachers talk about, and I myself included, you love the time off. You can't wait to get that time off. And then when the time off is over, because it is so difficult to go back, because it is so challenging to get back into that routine again, especially after you've had all this freedom. It's like a mini retirement. You know, if you've had 6 weeks or more off in a row, and, you know, if you're healthy during that time, it wasn't like it was an injury or an illness that you were off, you know, but you were off and enjoying yourself. And even if it's not traveling, but you're at home, you know, you create a new routine. That's what human beings do. We create routines. Some of us love routines, some of us don't. I used to work with a gentleman that was a government teacher, and at the school we worked at together, both of us got 6 weeks off during the summer. And he would say, I hate summer breaks. Like, man, you're crazy. Are you serious? Like, you don't want the time off? He goes, no, I like the time off. It's hard to come back, though. It's so hard to come back because I make a new routine. You know, the first 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5 days we have off. He goes, I'll relax, I'll enjoy it, I'll unwind, I'll take it easy, and then I got to get back into a routine. I have to have a purpose. I have to have something driving me. I have to do something, complete something, whether that's going on a vacation, whether that's doing work around my house, a project. I've always got a project going on. I've always got something going on. I'm remodeling a bathroom, I'm staining a deck, you know, re-landscaping the backyard, whatever it is. So he would get into that new routine and have all that freedom with that routine. You don't have to perform, except for he'd say, you know, my wife would put some pressure on me to get these projects done in a certain way at a certain time. But other than that, I was free to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and however I wanted to accomplish the project. Spend as much money as I need to, as I want to. Well, maybe not as I want to. Teachers aren't real well paid. But his whole thing was, hey, I start a new routine, and then I've got to break that routine that I've created and enjoyed to go back to work, to a routine, which is good for me, but that somebody else created and that somebody else has expectations for. And that was his whole thing, that he's like, I don't like the summer breaks. I don't like them. Me, on the other hand, I love those summer breaks so much. I love all the breaks. Anytime I'm not at work, I'm, you know, super happy. And that's not to say that I don't like my job or don't like what I do. But as that teacher said, somebody else is creating that routine for you. Somebody else is creating the rules for you, the expectations for you, and you have to perform at a certain standard. Whereas when you were retired, or during a summer break, you were mini-retired, because that's what it is. You have 6 weeks. It's like a little mini retirement. At first, you don't quite know what to do with yourself, and then you figure it out. I love my summer breaks. Absolutely adore them. And like that teacher I was talking about, I have to find a routine too. Most teachers, most educators, in order to survive teaching kids and teaching a subject or working in education, you have to have routine. I mean, that goes with any job, of course, but you have to have extra structure, especially when you're working with kids. You have to have structure, not just for yourself, but for the school as a whole, for the classroom, for you as an individual. You have to have structure. You have to have routine. You have to have that discipline. And teachers don't just turn that off during their breaks. So during your summer, again, most teachers create a routine. First few days, they may lounge around and relax, but then after that, it's like, I've got to do something. I got to do something with myself, with my house, my family, my life. Maybe that's going on a vacation. Maybe that's going, participating in a hobby. Maybe that's getting caught up on the laundry, house cleaning, housework, house projects, whatever their thing is. But most teachers who are the ones that get the summer breaks are actually the ones that aren't able to enjoy it as much as they thought they would. Well, I guess the long and the short of it is, the longer that you're gone from something, the harder it is to get back into it. Whether it's being gone for 6 weeks from work, or having taken a week or 2 or 6 weeks or months off of a certain routine, like exercising, for instance. It's hard to get back in and just perform. We human beings are very delicate, and at the same time, we're also very resilient. We're hardy in so many ways, and delicate in others. At first, it's tough to get back into something. So if you've been off of exercise, you haven't exercised in 6 weeks or longer, it's really tough to get back into a routine. And you're not as strong as you once were. But the resilient part of us, that mental end, says, I can do this. I'll just keep going back again and again and do my best. And eventually, you're back at that strength level that you once were, and you get better. Same with going back to work. I'm resilient. I'll bounce back. But it takes a little bit of time to get back into that routine. Some people, we often ask each other, what would you do if you won the lottery or inherited a large sum of money where you didn't have to work anymore? And, people talk about things they would buy, experiences they would try out, or, I would travel, I would go to concerts, I would go to all the football games, all the baseball stadiums, I would travel overseas and, do a bike tour. And those are all great responses. And, if you won the lottery, why not? Why not enjoy experiences like that? But I think the most successful people in life are actually not even the successful people. Truly happy people are ones that find a routine that they've created. Ones that have found a way of living where they are producing something, a product, a service, a kindness, doing something, building something, creating. And they do it for themselves. Whether it's somebody that's happy because maybe they work a routinized 9-to-5 job, but they have a hobby that makes them happy and that creates a routine for them when they get home from work. Some people are entrepreneurs and create companies, and those companies are their livelihood as well as their source of freedom. And those are the people that are usually the happiest. Ones that are finding work that it's worth doing and working hard at it. Vacations bring a lot of joy. Experiences bring a lot of joy. But after some point, you can only do so much hiking. You can only do so much traveling before you're kind of like, I need to produce, create, serve in some way. Human beings, we're a lot like ants in the fact that we have to have a job. That doesn't have to be a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job. We have to have something that we work hard towards, something that we work in, an industry we work in, or a cause worth fighting for. That's where happiness is created. I think another big thing that we derive from work, and not, again, necessarily your average 9-to-5 kind of job, but work that's created by you, having a cause to fight for, having purpose, having something to fill your day that you believe in. And there's also wanting to be wanted or needed. A lot of satisfaction from parenting comes from little Johnny needs me. I had to take care of this baby. I had to take care of this toddler. I had to take care of this 8-year-old. I had to take care of this middle school kid, this high school kid. And then parents start to find that, they butt heads with their teenager because they're still trying to take care of their child. And they need to. As a parent of 2 teenagers, yes, you still have to take care of your child. But that child's starting to learn how to take care of themselves on their own, which is normal. But as a parent, you start to feel less and less needed. And that's good. That's the natural order of things. That's the way it's supposed to be. But as human beings, we need, in order to be happy, to be needed or wanted for something. We want somebody to want us around. We want to be able to produce something, whether it's love, a product, a service, whatever it is. We need to be needed. We want to be wanted. So to summarize it all, we human beings, we have to work. We need to work. We want to work. And I'm not talking about going out and getting a job. I'm not talking about even opening up your own business or even anything about income, which, yes, we all need income as well. Yeah, even the richest of the rich need some kind of source of income to replenish what they spend. But I'm not talking about income here. What I'm talking about is we need to be driven. We need a purpose if we want to be happy. I mean, as much fun as it is to think about quitting your job and winning the lottery, quitting your job and, laying on the couch, eating Cheetos and watching soap operas all day, or even pursuing your hobby all day long, or I'm going to travel the world. Those things would be great, and we would enjoy those. You would enjoy that. But at some point in time, it's going to come back to the fact that you need to be needed. You want to be wanted, and you want to create. You want to produce. Like I said, human beings, we're like ants. We need to be structured. We need to be busy. And it doesn't have to be busy doing somebody else's bidding. It doesn't have to be running a business or working for a business or working for money, but we need some kind of purpose. And usually that purpose derives from within us. What are our inherent talents, our natural abilities? What are things that bring us joy? If we're able to produce and give from ourselves using those talents, those inborn abilities, that's when we're the happiest. And it's makes you even happier when you can use those inborn talents, those inborn God-given abilities to produce and to give to others in some facet, in some way. So again, you don't have to go out and get a job unless that job fulfills that purpose, that need for you. We all need money. We all need income, sure. But we have to work. And that work has to be the kind of work that we feel is worth doing and that we're willing to work, using that word again, hard. I think the greatest thing in the world is to use your inborn talents, your natural abilities, to produce and give back to the world. To give whatever it is that you're good at back to the world. That creates true happiness and lasting happiness.